Desmond here from Performance Destination. If you're looking to have your car tuned, whether it's on the dyno or remote, reach out to us and see what we can do for you. We meet the needs on all computer systems. All right, so on this section of the build, we're gonna go through and replace some of the components. This is the front control arm, and it's pretty beat up. It's pretty. A lot of the bushings are very like loose. A lot of the stuff are cracked, and we're gonna replace it brand new stuff. These are the things that help you maintain a good straight line, a good 60-foot, better short track, better stability. You can go fast as all you want, but if you don't got some good suspension to keep it nice and straight and narrow, here's a recipe for disaster. So instead of replacing this one, I bought two. This way they're both sides are brand new and get this car running and driving good. I like to make sure this car feels good and operates nice and smooth, and we're gonna get to it. So just to give some insight, this is the old one. A lot of play in there. This is the new one. It's a lot stiffer. The old one, it's a lot of play. So this kind of, you'll be going down the road and it'll just be vibrating like that. And you feel it in the steering wheel, you feel it in the chassis. And this one keeps you planted nice and straight. That's why I said it's always good to make sure you upgrade your suspension components. This way, as you're trying to go faster, we're making more horsepower. Now this is the driver's side, the new one, the old one. But when I took this out, look how the ball joint stayed inside the cartridge. Not the cartridge, but it stayed inside the spindle, and it didn't come out. So that tells me if I was to ever race the car or drive the car how I already had it set up, like how I got the shell, this eventually would have dropped out. And the who knows what could have happened, what kind of accident could have happened. That's why it's always good to double check your car. Even though it may look pretty on the outside, looks good outside, it's presentable, but you just never know what goes on behind the doors. Got some new ones, and we're going to put that on there. This way this car runs and drives good. But that right there could have been a major problem if I didn't catch this. All right, so what we're going to do is, this is a non-ACD TK. So we have, this one's already built. The one we had in my car, stage 3 from RRT. But then I had some custom disc added to this one that's going to work with the Honda Viscous. So all we're doing is we're taking basically the whole entire top hat with the ACD, and we're going to drop it on the housing. And it's this same exact housing, same exact everything. This one is upgraded for the ring and pinion other than from the factory, and this one has upgraded studs. This one has wave track LSD. That one has the factory bolts on it, factory LSD, factory ring and pinion. So instead of us running this one, we're going to take the top hat off because we already have the modification for the lockup on here, the run for the Honda Viscous, and we're going to put it on this because this will be an overall stronger unit of setting up. And this way, for the amount of power we're going to make and the digs and the racing we're going to do, everything will hold up and it'll last. So we're going to just do a quick little swap over.
Can you tell if it's a
exact same case?
Evo 8 or Evo 9? I mean, ACD or non-ACD?
Yeah, by the port.
No, they're both the same.
There's a port on this thing.
No, there isn't. There's a port on that.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Yeah, the top hat. For the bottom casing, no.
The bottom case
same thing.
is exactly the same.
Yeah, same exact thing.
Bottom case is exactly the same.
Yeah. So we're gonna take everything over and swap it over to this one because it has the stronger ring and pinion, better studs, and yeah. So on the Evo 8, for any non-ACD ones, the Viscous is already inside the transfer case. So when I'm doing the Honda Viscous, you can't have two Viscous setups fighting each other. So I'm doing the non-ACD because I already have a lockup on my my ACD setup, and I'm gonna put that in there so I don't have to worry about the viscous, because your ACD itself acts like the viscous. So if I lock it up, it doesn't have to worry about two viscous fighting each other, and you only have one viscous, which is the Honda one, for it to work. So I've been looking into it a lot. I've been trying to figure out ways of making this work, and I think I've got it figured out now. This way it works. So I'm having a backup. I have these two transfer cases I'm gonna use as backup.
We got plenty of backup.
Yep, and I have another one that the S1 built is they're also doing a test on for their lockup as well, and I'm going to be getting that one as well. So everything is going to get swapped over. This way we have a one solid unit for the setup we're going to be running.
Prints.
Yeah. So even the non-ACD and ACD case, they're exactly the same.
The bottom half. The bottom half is exactly the same. Identical.
Identical right there. So it's all the same.
Just what changes is the top half.
Yep.
This is ACD.
Yep.
And this is non-ACD with the viscous coupler built inside of this case. That's not
inside that one.
Serviceable.
Yep. So
that goes on non-ACD.
Yep. So we're not going to use that anymore. We're just going to use the top hat of the ACD and put everything all together. Put the rings, put the ring back on, and drop it back in. Put the ACD top hat back in, and ready to rip, man. So this is the original ring that came out of the ACD, and then this is the one from the RRT, and you could tell the difference between them. You could tell the difference of one being heat treated and one being factory. So this is the one we're going to go with because it is stronger. It is aftermarket out of their stage 3 kit, and this is the factory one. So this is all going to be backup stuff. More than likely, I'm probably never even going to use this. So
I mean, you can keep it as a spare. The ring and pinion. The
ring and pinion, I would. Yeah. But everything else. Or maybe I would just probably get rid of this whole top half.
Yeah.
And I'll just keep the bottom half.
I mean, you can always keep it for spare if anything push comes to shove. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Change the setup. Remember, we still have to do the rear differential if you're blowing the tires away in the front. Change the clutch packs and then make power until you break that and go 3000 GT.
Yeah. Well. All right. Nicely placed in there. Looks good. Looks good.
My dirty paws, bro. My bad.
Nah, you good. It don't matter. Fluid's gonna run through that anyway.
Always make sure the O-ring's on.
Yeah.
Remember, you have to get a seal for this, actual seal.
Yeah, I saw when I bought it. It didn't come with a seal. Kind of go over some things with the sequential transmission. We went with the sequential transmission mainly for the fact of how fast it can gear change in between. It's like a dog box as well, but it's more of keeping the RPM up for like street use, also track use too. So this way it never drops below a certain point in the RPM band. It just keeps all the RPMs up, and it has to keep you in your power band, keeps you moving forward pretty fastly. So you never have to fall out of your power band and build back up. So we're gonna go over some things with it. It's a regular fluid capacity Evo transmission. It takes the same fluid capacity that you would run in a regular 5-speed. This is the transmission fluid that caused the run. Only this. The guys at Quaif and Momentum Motorsports, they only recommend this. If you don't have this, they probably wouldn't even do no warranty work or nothing to deal with it. But 7590 weight. I've used this before I even had a sequential back in the day. This is really good fluid, like top tier fluid, really good lubricant. You get this, find out who's a dealer for you locally or online. But you know, we just went with that. We went with that with everything. We went with that with our transmission. We went with that with we went with the same brand for our rear end, our T case. Make sure everything's on that so it has good lubricant. And but yeah, this transmission bolts up like factory. Slave cylinder bolts up like factory. I have some of these things plugged off because I don't have the rubber, the factory rubber hoses for the block off, so nothing get in there. So I need to get that in there as well. But everything converts from your regular stock 5-speed and swaps right over to this sequential. You just gotta take some of the things you need off of it. It'll convert right back over. The axles bolt up like factory, just like normal. Everything is the same exact way. Starter hooks up like factory, same exact way. It has everything that you need. T-case hooks up to like factory, same exact way. The only thing I don't know that I'm kind of curious on is how you have the oil cooler. So I think it's a TRE oil cooler. I don't know if that will bolt on or if there's a benefit of running that. That's a good. I thought about that, so I don't know if if it's the same thing or would it make it any better or whatnot. But everything else underneath here bolts up like factory. Everything's the same. No different. So it's the same thing for the drain. You get the same drain plug. You get the same fill plug as well. There's another fill plug in the back of the transmission that doesn't come on a regular transmission. You get that as well. So we slide over to this side. So you also have a gear selector right there that also displays for what gear you're in, and also everything else that's going on, and that's the brain function of the transmission is inside there. So and that runs to a harness that runs inside the cabin that connects strictly to the display screen. So it also tells you what gear and position you're in as well. You know, and it's in correlation with the people from Momentum Motorsports. But everything else is all the brain functions are all in this side for the sequential, but everything else operates like factory. No other difference, nothing. Like it just bolts right on, axles bolts right in like factory. Everything is perfect, you know, good fitment. There's nothing thrown off or anything like that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move over to the inside cabin. So we have the inside where we have the gear display right there. I mounted it right here because I don't like it over here. There's really no good flat surface there. I'm probably going to try to make something unique for anybody who has sequentials. I have an idea for this gear display, so I'm probably going to work on that. But right now, so how it came like this. It displays first gear. I don't know what gear I'm really in, so you have to do a calibration on this. The calibration is right there. You can see the little knob. The knob is right there. And then with that knob, there's a step process of calibrating this transmission. So it knows if it's a 5-speed, if it's a 6-speed, if it's a 7-speed. It has to know what transmission it is as well. So it also knows reverse. It also knows certain things. This way it always knows what position it needs to be in. So what we're going to do is we're going to calibrate this way. Whenever I get this thing going, you get this thing going. However you do it, your sequential already knows what gear, what's neutral, what's reverse, all of that. All right, so we're ready to fire this thing up, ready to get it fired up, ready to get it going. I primed it, we got fuel pressure, but before this thing fires up, we have to clean down this manifold. So I have the rubbing alcohol here, I have the wipes here, I have to go through this manifold and I have to clean it down and get all the fingerprints, everything off of this manifold. Because once this manifold gets up to temp, it's going to want to like burn the fingerprints on there, and we don't want that. So we want to make sure it's all cleaned. We want to make sure it's all right. We want to make sure everything is off everywhere on this thing, and we want to make sure every crease, every crevice, like it's just cleaned up. And we just want to make sure when it burns, it's going to burn a good color. I'm hoping, cross fingers, I'm hoping for some of the runners, they get a little bit of blue. That's what I really, really want for this manifold. I want to see some blue on these runners. I think it just add to the overall vibe and what I got going on for my colors. And, you know, just so we're going to clean it down. I got like 50 count. I'm not gonna need all these, but you know, I'm gonna use as much as I can to get everywhere. The flange, underneath, the collector, like everywhere. Like, so I wanna make sure, and I made sure I washed my hands beforehand. Sometimes you can also use gloves as well. This way you don't have no fingerprints in between. But I wash my hands and to make sure it's all clean. There's no more any oil base on my fingertips. And let's get to it, you know. We're gonna try to hear how this baby sounds, and well, I want to make sure I get this thing cleaned up first. So pads ready soaked. Just gonna go and start wiping everything down. Get all of the fingerprints off of this manifold. I'm gonna go one runner at a time. This way I don't forget. And just kind of clean it. Clean it down really nice. Get in there. And I want this baby to look good. Make sure you clean the welds really nice. Want the welds to look good. Just whatever color I can get on this thing, I'll be happy for it. But I really want this to be blue. So, and it's kind of like a natural. Morrison told me it kind of does a burn like naturally. So, but let's get it nice. Get it nicely cleaned. And every runner I'm gonna clean. Cause look at that. You could kind of see a little bit how dirty it is a little bit. But every runner I'm gonna clean, I'm gonna get a new cloth, and don't use the same cloth on every runner. Just get a new one. You know, it came with 50 pack. So just get a new one and go to work. I mean, we're gonna clean that flange. The flange back there, I'm gonna clean that up too. Make sure that's got a nice color to it. Nice and clean. This one is not clean, you know, you put a lot of time and money into this stuff, so you wanna make sure it looks its best and runs its best. Ain't nothing wrong with that. All right, got fuel pressure, pump is on. Cross fingers, I don't know if this is gonna fire. I hope it fires. I put a lot of time into this car for it not to fire. I'll be devastated. So let's see what it does. All right, so we got everything figured out on this car. I got a bad alternator on this. While the car is running, the car is it's not holding a good voltage. So I am going to swap out the alternator. I have a higher amperage one that I was recommended to that works really good. I had a couple other guys with some Evos and some other guys with some drag Hondas that use those higher output alternators. It's a local company here, so I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to throw it in there, give it a try. The alternator itself is literally, while it's running, the alternator is actually smoking itself. Like it's running, the voltage is not holding, and it's smoking. So gotta get that out of there, you know. I don't like that, you know. If anything's going on with the car, anything's going on with the motor, like I want to know. I don't want this thing to be just randomly smoking. I don't know what's going on, so we're gonna get that out of there. Everything else looked good. Manifold starting to get a nice little color, a nice little burn color, just a little bronze down. I'm trying to get that manifold, get some blue in there, so we'll see. Everything else seems like a good, you know, it's not bad. I gotta shave this post down a little bit because the other fitting for the catch can, it doesn't, well, I'm not allowed to turn the head because it's hitting this. I don't need this, so I'm gonna kind of like go at an angle and kind of just try to chop it a little bit, chop it down, and then go from there. But overall, like everything else, it runs good, it sounds good. If this overall feels good, it starts up on the dime every single time now, nice and smooth. The front O2 sensor wasn't working. Also, I got to figure out that so I can see why. I want to be able to smell and sniff the fuel trims. This way, I know. But you know, I'll double check that again and figure out so I can get that to work on there. I'm trying to get everything prepared, trying to get everything street ready, dyno ready. Like this way, everything, I'm not chasing out issues and problems, but so far so good. And we're gonna keep chucking along and try to get this, all the issues and bugs worked out on this baby. All right, so we got our new high amperage alternator. It's upgraded from factory. I was having some voltage issues on the car, and I wanted to make sure I correct that and run with a little bit something but stronger than the factory unit. This should definitely help me out for sure. So I got this alternator from Power Bastards. You know, the name sounds a little funny, but I've had a few people recommend them. Trusted unit, trusted alternator. It looks good. You know, I'm hoping that this puts out some strong voltage. The whole entire car, the quality of the car depends on the quality of the voltage too. Don't want voltage being inconsistent, sporadic, swinging back and forth. You know, I want to have as much volts as possible. That's going to affect the injector spray. That's going to affect the fuel pump flow. It's going to affect everything of how the car performs, behaves. So I want to make sure we got good volts when we're operating our vehicle. All right, so this is their 200 amp model. I think these boys are out in California or so, and it looks good. You know, I can't wait to see the difference of what this is going to do. This is for now when you go on there and you try to get their alternator, you have to make sure you type in the turbo model because they have the regular Lancer, and obviously you want the turbocharged model for the Evolution. But overall, it looks good. You know, it's a direct replacement of the Mitsubishi one for the Evos. They already come with the nut washer on there, direct bolting. So we're gonna put this in, we're gonna test it out, get this car fired up again, and see where we're at with the voltage. Hopefully this is corrects and fixes it. So I'm gonna show you what it's doing for fuel pressure. Doesn't even hold it. It just drops automatically. Can't hold no pressure. All right, so we're at Real Street and we got some new pumps for the car for the fuel pressure issue we've been having, and hopefully we can try to overcome this. I replaced one pump and the pressure held a lot better, so I think I'm gonna put 2 brand new ones in there and test it out. Probably also gonna test some other things out, but should be good with this. And I'm gonna install it, see if it holds pressure, get this thing ready for the dyno, get it ready for the street. And yeah, this is literally the only thing that's holding me back from driving this car. So hopefully this fixes the problem. All right, guys, so we got the new pump. So just so you know, I was also advised and told the Walbro Hellcat pumps, or Walbro pumps in general, they now are stamped like this with the QR code on there. So these are the new style pumps like this. They did it like this so they can get away from counterfeit pumps, I was told. You could still have the old school ones. They still got a bunch of the old school batch ones that has just a regular part number across it and all the labels. But all the ones that are currently made today that's going out have a stamp like this on it. So just so you know that as well. Now, instead of running a generic, the regular filter, we went with this style. This should also help on the flow for the fuel pump delivery versus a regular style. This is really see-through mesh, but it's still good enough to collect all the particles to protect your injectors and your fuel system. But this is, bolts right onto there. And this is a really good unit to have for that. We bought 2 of them for the other pump and this one as well, for the primary, secondary. So we're gonna get this installed, we're gonna get this set up, and hopefully, cross fingers, this fixes the fuel pressure issue that I'm having. So got it all set up. This is what it looks like now for the fuel filter pickup. And like I said, both pumps now have the new Walbro logo stamped on them. So we're gonna install this. Hopefully this is the cause, and hopefully we might see some more flow out of this, because I have filters on it right now that's still ethanol compatible just fine. But I feel like with this style mesh, I should be able to see a little bit more fuel pump flow out of it, at probably a higher boost, and where it matters, where the duty is going to start screaming pretty high. So this should also allow it to flow a little bit more. So this is one of those things we could test out. I don't mind checking injector duty with this one and then put the other filter on and checking injector duty with that one and see if it makes a difference in the logs. So, but it's just something I just wanted to run, and while I already have it all apart, why not? So let's see. All right, so the new fuel pump setup is on. New filters. Filters are smaller, so I'll be able to put it in and out. This way it's not gonna hang up taking them in and out. But both the pumps are installed, ready for installation. So cross fingers. This is the fix. All right, engine is cold. Fuel pressure 0. Fire it up for the first time today. Let's see what it does. right, so we all strapped down. We're gonna head to the shop. Try to get this thing dyno ready. So let's think, so we can go over everything, do the boost leak test, do everything we need to do, and you know, I gotta bring it to the shop. It's time to get there. So let's do that. All right, so we're here at the shop. Time to unload this thing, get in the shop, start getting it dyno ready. Going over everything, my boost leaks, all my simple stuff. I did everything this way to try to show you what a nice build could be like from home. It was hard doing it from home, but now time for me to bring it to the shop so I can do all the things I need to do properly. So let's see. So we're gonna do a boost leak test on this. I wanna make sure and verify everything is solid. Make sure it's not holding, just to make sure it's holding good boost pressure, make sure there's no leaks, any bubbles or anything like that. You know, I got my soapy water, gonna go through everything. It's super critical to test over everything from every clamp, from the turbo, compressor housing, all the way through the clamp. I even spray the core of the intercooler, other side going outwards, going inwards to the throttle body, and in the fuel rail and whatnot. So we got to see, you know, when I originally got that intake manifold had a lot of silicone, the gasket on it, some RTV stuff. It was heavily caked on there. So I cleaned it all off. And the reason why I think that was on there beforehand is because I think it was making up the difference for it not being flat. I put it on a flat surface and I shine light in every corner of the intake manifold and it was flush. So I don't know. So I'll have to see. So hopefully try to figure out what's going on with that and so I can overcome that situation. But we'll see. Neither here or there. But if I have to take it off, I'll take it off, get it situated, because I need this thing to hold all the boost pressure and even have it a good seal for vacuum for idling. Don't want an inconsistent idle, don't want idle surge up and down. Boost leaks would do that. It'll have your idle inconsistent. So I'm gonna test over a few different things, check over everything. A couple things that's just temporary. I ran a ground strap there temporarily, just because I wanted to make sure for some signal things I was seeing on it. I'm gonna relocate that ground and make it longer, so it goes down behind the intake manifold and come up from the bottom. This way, kind of give it its finished fitment. I'm going to shave this corner here for this from my catch can. This it goes right on there, but it doesn't fit. It's hitting it. I can't twist it because the edges are hitting the corner there. So I'm just gonna shave a little bit off. Just a little bit off. This way I can turn it by hand and it doesn't have any clearance issues. everything else checks out, you know. Just gotta I already got my gate pressure set in there. I gotta plumb my boost controller. I already wired it in, cause I moved my boost solenoid right there. I kept it right as close as possible to the turbo, and I need to plumb that. But after that, and if everything seals, cross fingers, we'll see. But I'm getting this is the things you got to go through. You know, you never know what's gonna happen. You never know what's working, what's not working, what's sealing, what's overheating. I'll tell you right now, there's no overheating issues. How I have the cooling system set up, it takes a solid 50 minutes or so to get up to 178, 180. And then once I start rolling on it, it'll drop down to a 170, like solid. So there's no cooling issues there. Being half-size radiator, I want to make sure that was at the forefront of focusing on this car so it doesn't overheat. But last thing now is the boost leak test. And that's it. I'll probably throw new spark plugs in there. Those spark plugs in it, they are getting the car situated, find a little here, find a little leaks, a little problems, a little there. You know, I like to tune on fresh plugs. This way, when I pull the plug, I can read it. But overall, everything else sounds good, fires up good, sounds healthy. I rev it. I was ready to drive. I kind of already drove it, but now just to do the boost leak and make sure everything is holding. All right, so we just did the boost leak on it. It is leaking. The O-rings on the injectors, that's leaking on there. Exactly what I thought was gonna happen. Right by the intake manifold, it is leaking on there for the surface. So what I'm probably gonna do is, probably gonna take off. Definitely got to take off the intake manifold so I can get to that. I'm gonna probably take it to machine shop so they can take a very, very, very light surface off of it and make it flat. And I'm probably gonna do a little measurement for the O-rings. It probably needs maybe a thicker O-ring on there, or maybe if there's enough room, maybe I could double it up and put two O-rings on there. But everything's on there. O-rings not pinched, O-rings not cut. Everything, it fit right in the hole, perfect. And I don't know why it's leaking, but I'm gonna pull the intake manifold off, go through everything, check over stuff, get everything situated. That's the last thing to do. Everything else is working fine. Everything else sounds good. Car fires up every single time when I need it to. I just want that situated before we get to tuning. All right, so comment below. We're gonna see how much power this car makes in the next video. You know, hopefully, cross fingers. Just got to figure out to situate that stuff. You know, it's a 72 millimeter double pumper. S3 cams. This car is probably gonna be for sure in the upper boost range on this thing. So, you know, let me know. You're thinking 700, 800, 900, 950, 1,000. Drop a comment below. Let's see how much power this thing's gonna make. And I might be able to do something special for the winner if whoever gets it right. I'm gonna finish off the video with that. I'm going to finalize these little issues and probably the little things I want to get corrected before hitting the dyno, and the car is ready. It's going to be ready to rip here soon. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to the next episode. Let's make some power.